Hey friends, it's Just the Gems. I'm Brandon. Look, I've got a confession to make. It has been a crazy, busy few weeks. Work is kicking my butt. All right, my butt is sore. I can't sit down and play games because my butt's too sore from getting kicked by work. And even making videos is just finding the time to do it is just so difficult right now. So I thought what I might do this week, instead of a more traditional sit down video with the nice microphones and the lighting and all this stuff that I put a lot of effort into and probably looks amateur at best still, you know, whatever. I would just do a room tour sort of thing where I just show off my collection, let you see all the stuff that I've got, and just kind of be a little loosey-goosey with it. Just have a little bit of fun. So what do you think? You want to come along? You want to see my games? You want to see my collector's editions, all my merchandise? You're welcome to take a look. So let's go. Now these shelves on the wall, these are actually pegboards that are typically found in like garages or workshops, but I've kind of repurposed them to hold all of my PlayStation games. Well, my PlayStation 1 through 3, along with the Vita and the PSP as well. So here you can see I've got some big box PlayStation 2 games up here. I kind of went quickly, but you've got your Lunar, Silver Star Story Complete, and Eternal Blue Complete, along with Ark the Lad collection. I really need to get into that Ark the Lad game. I think I played the first Ark the Lad as a kid, and then part of the second one. Never touched the third one. And I think that they're just supposed to be classics, so no excuse. Here's a Snorlax. I got him for free at a garage sale. He's just is just chilling out up here because he was on the couch, and Pablo, my precious little baby boy, Chihuahua man, he thought that this was for him to chew on. And that is not the case. He is for decoration. So here we have a couple of Growlancers. Have not tried these games yet. I was experiencing some FOMO, and I wanted to get my hands on the deluxe sets before I was no longer able to do so. I think one of them has like a watch in it or something. It doesn't work. I don't know why I wanted it. Temporary insanity, but I really wanted it, so here it is. And then the PlayStation 2 collection. So, as per the channel name, I really am trying to just collect the gems. And to me, naturally, that means, you know, role-playing, some horror. But if it's a role-playing game and it's on the PlayStation 2, it's probably something that I want to have. There's a handful that I still need to get my hands on. The fourth dot hack, as you can see here, is just conspicuously absent, and that really bums me out. And it's like $350. I don't know when that's going to happen. Why is this turned around? What is this? Oh, this is Haunting Ground. Yeah, I think I showed that off in my most expensive games video. I don't know why it was backwards. Spooky. So yeah, PlayStation 2 collection. You know, small. Most of my collections are small, but they're focused on the heavy hitters, so I feel like that's okay. I feel like it's okay to have a small collection. The size doesn't matter, it's how you use it. And I use these games to play on my television, so works out great. So the PlayStation 3 collection, even smaller, partially because there just honestly aren't that many PlayStation 3 games that I think are worth having. That's just a sad fact about the machine. Got all the Atelier games on the PlayStation 3. Looking forward to finally getting into those. Drakengard 3. Found that at a half-price books for relatively cheap. I was happy to come across that. I love me some Yoko Taro. He's insane. I love it. Folklore. Here's a game that I considered doing a review on, but I didn't because I hadn't started the channel yet, and I didn't want to start off on a negative. I did not like this game. Did not care for it. It was, it felt very early PlayStation 3, if that makes sense. Not easy to go back to. This might seem like a strange game to have in my Just Gems collection, considering it's the lost PlayStation 3 game, Via Domus. A terrible game, just a horrible game, an atrocious game. But, I was a big fan of the show Lost, and this has a terrible John Locke impersonator shouting about banyan trees.
Hey son, over here. I'm over here at the banyan trees.
And I'm very here for that, so I had to be in the collection. What do we got here? We got Nier, Persona 4 Arena, Ragnarok Odyssey Ace. I've got some stuff here. I haven't tried a lot of these. Residents of Fate, Agarest War. I think the Agarest War games just relaunched on the Switch, I want to say. A couple of the Silent Hill games, the much maligned Silent Hill HD collection. Not so bad on the PlayStation 3. Apparently on the Xbox it's like unplayable. We got the Tales of games here. Tears to Tiara 2. Don't know anything about that. Time and Eternity was a very interesting game, but I don't know if I can really recommend it. It was interesting. And then onto the PSP. Oh, we've got quite a handful of PSP games here. Really just a handful, but some decently heavy hitters in here, I think. I found all three of these Ys games, or rather these two. It was Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles and Ys the Oath and Felghana. Found them at a Second and Charles, which is a used media store that's around this area. I don't know if they're nationwide or not. They had them complete in box, so complete with the cardboard box, everything inside. Very, very good shape. And I think they had like, I don't know, $20 or $30 on them. And even at the time, this was early on when I started collecting, even at the time I was like, those are definitely worth a lot more than that. And they were already well over $100 each. So really lucked out there. I got a couple of Nier music boxes. This one plays Weight of the World. And this one, of course, plays Kaine Salvation, which is just one of the most beautiful songs, period. Just period. One of the most beautiful songs. A little Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Special edition, Cruel King. Great hero. Love him. So down here I've got my Game Boy collection. Mostly role-playing again. The Game Boy Advance games, you're not going to be able to see this. Let me pull these out. Okay, so you can see here, we got your Mario 3, but then you got your Golden Sun and Golden Sun The Lost Age. You got your Mother 3, which is has the fan translation on it, your Sword of Mana, things of that nature. This is a Japanese Tales of game. I forget which one. Have not played it because I don't speak Japanese well enough to be able to comprehend anything. Sima, the Enemy, I don't really know anything about that. Got all of the Final Fantasy Advance games here. Donkey Kong, and some Lactaid tablets for if I bring a bowl of ice cream down and suddenly remember, oh wait, I'm lactose intolerant, so I should probably take these. Any of my lactose intolerant homies out there, say hey. So then, of course, I've got my Game Boy Advance SP. This is the one that I got from Phoenix Resale. I ran into him at the Midwest Gaming Classic, and he was giving away Game Boy Advance SPs for some reason, and I was the lucky recipient of this Game Boy Advance SP. Now, I've purchased a lot of these reproduction cases. These are not full size, obviously, as you can see. They're just about the size of a Game Boy cart. So it fits in there real snug, but it is a basically mini replica of the Game Boy case, the cardboard box that it originally came in. So I really like having these on the shelf. It just makes it so much more interesting to look at. Same with these Game Gear cases. Like these, obviously, these are not how these games came. They came in little cardboard boxes, but these mimic the look and feel of the Genesis cases. I just love it. I just love it so much. The highlight over here, I guess, would be, you get your Final Fantasy Legends 1 and 2, your Dragon Warrior 1, 2, and 3, as well as Monsters, Revelations, the Demon Slayer, which I think is part of the Megami Tensei series, I want to say. The Lufia Legend Returns game, which is actually a proper sequel to Lufia. I never knew that until I started playing it. I was very surprised. And then over here, just a lot of Sonic, but I did naturally need to pick up the Sword of Hajia. The Sword of Hajia. Because Shining Force, baby. Shining Force. I believe this was remade as part of Shining Force CD for the Sega CD. I could be wrong about that. Down here, similar kind of situation where I've got these little replica cases for each of the games. Here we have Aiden Chronicles, the First Mage. Just really love these little cases. So cool. Variety of games here. Mostly the games that I played as a kid. Obviously, there's just not a ton of role-playing games in general on the N64, so choices are limited. I mean, you've got, your Paper Mario, which is RPG-ish, right? It's sort of RPG-ish. Not to the extent of Mario RPG for Super Nintendo, but still. And then naturally, Quest 64. Was real excited when this one was coming out. Oh boy. And was just as proportionately disappointed when I actually played it. Oh boy. So yeah, lots of good games there. I'm not sure how to show these off. I don't want to take every single one of these out. So let's maybe just look at the tops. Why don't we just look at the tops? The games that you would expect me to have, probably, mostly role-playing, some nostalgic games from my childhood, Out of This World and Flashback and Mario Kart. And then, Paladin's Quest, Soul Blazer. Some of these I didn't actually play as a kid, but they fit the bill of like role-playing games. Mario RPG or Breaths of Fire. And, Earthbound, Castlevania, Robo Trek, Mystic Quest, Secret of Mana. The usual suspects. Got a whole bunch of other ones back in here that I purchased it from a friend. They're not games from my childhood, so I have not really delved into those yet. I have a couple of, looks like Japanese Puyo Puyo games here. Got Puyo Puyo Focus. Got Puyo Puyo 2 Remix for the Super Famicom. And the original, the classic Puyo Puyo for the Mega Drive. Definitely went through a hardcore Puyo Puyo phase a couple of years ago. Love them Puyos. Moving over to the Nintendo DS. You've got some heavy hitters here. Avalon Code, Chrono Trigger, the Dragon Quest games. Got your Final Fantasy IV remake and your Ghost Trick. Glory of Heracles doesn't actually look particularly interesting to me. Greek myth has never really been my forte, but I have it. Got the Golden Sun Dark Dawn game. Haven't heard anything particularly good about it, but wanted to have the complete set. Got Hotel Dusk, Room 215. Very, very good adventure game. Love this bad boy. And its sequel, which I think only came out in Europe. Last window, The Secret of Cape West. So, that's great. Luminous Arc, the worst lunar game in existence, Dragon Song, Magical Star Sign, got some Mario games in here, nostalgia. Radiant Historia is a fantastic game. The remake on the 3DS is even better, so if you had to choose, I would go with the 3DS version. That's also very expensive nowadays, so good luck, but very, 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 just a top-tier JRPG, just so good. Rhapsody, but I plan on playing that on the Switch. Sands of Destruction, Sonic Chronicles. A couple of soundtracks here. I had purchased these from a vendor at an event and was really excited. Got a great deal on them. Brought them home. Turns out they are bootlegs from Taiwan or something. So I did not think to check when I was there. And I feel very cheated and very dirty and very used. 3DS is up. Also some pretty decent heavy hitters in here. You got Seventh Dragon. This isn't particularly a heavy hitter, but I love Adventure Time, and I love Adventure Time, Hey Ice King, Why'd You Steal Our Garbage? Just a very, very good Zelda 2-like game. The Adventure of Link inspired. Ton of fun. Get the Alliance Alive, which I did play and review. This is still sealed in plastic because I played it digitally when I reviewed it. Bravely Default and Bravely Second. Corpse Party, I have the full set that came with the little figures and whatnot. A lot of my boxes are stored away in a tiny closet under my desk. It looks magical. It looks like a little magical door to a fantasy world. But really it's just a little closet where I put a bunch of stuff that I don't have room to display. And so those are kind of all stowed away. So unfortunately I can't really show you those. Got your Dragon Quests, got your couple of Etrian Odysseys here. I'm really hoping that I can find the rest. I don't want to pick up the remakes on the Switch because those are not the remakes that were brought out for the 3DS that had storylines added to them. And storylines are, as you might know if you've been around this channel at all, fairly important to me. So I will skip the dungeon crawler with no story. Thank you. I got your Fire Emblems, your Kingdom Hearts, your Legend of Legacy and Lord of Magna, and Monster Hunter Stories I'm in the middle of right now. It's very charming. Persona Q games. Got a couple of Shin Megami Tensei 3DS games like Strange Journey Redux and Devil Survivor 2. Spirit Camera, which I think is somehow related to the Fatal Frame series. I could be wrong, but I think it's related. And of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. Along with this Yoshi's Woolly World Poochie Amiibo thing, which actually is worth quite a bit of money right now. It's like $140, $150 for some reason. But yeah. And finally over here on this side of the room, we've got the Genesis collection, okay? I just picked up Strider, actually, a couple of weeks ago, and got a decent deal on it. I'd never played it as a kid, but it felt like I had somehow. I don't know if friend had it and maybe I saw that. I don't know. It felt familiar to me, but I don't think I've ever actually played that game. But I have it now, so maybe I will someday. Aladdin, classic. Echo the Dolphin. I never really played Tides of Time, so maybe one day I'll crack into that, but I loved Echo the Dolphin so much. Jurassic Park, you get to play as the raptor, best version of the game. The Phantasy Star games, including Phantasy Star 4 in box, missing the manual, but just the fact that I was able to get the box for a reasonable price is crazy. You got Quackshot, which I think was one of the first games that I played on the Sega Genesis. Love Quackshot. Got your Road Rash, Rocket Knight, Shining in the Darkness, and of course Shining Force. This is a reproduction case. From what I understand, Shining Force 2 only came in a cardboard box, but I am not about that if I can help it, so... Got this nice Shining Force 2 Genesis case. And then your Sonic games, your Sword of Vermilion. Sword of Vermilion came with this just beefy, like, hint book or walkthrough kind of deal. I have not one time looked at this game since I bought it, so. That's just kind of how I rolled when I started collecting. A lot of the Genesis and Super Nintendo stuff, this was the first stuff that I started to collect. So I was not so much thinking about quality. I was thinking, is it an RPG? Then I will buy it. So, or a game that I grew up with, like Echo and things like that. So, real quick, this is the cabinet, the TV stand, whatever you want to call it. It houses my consoles. So you've got the Saturn, you've got the Wii stacked up there, my analog ST and or Super NT and SG. The two Super Nintendo and Genesis consoles from Analog. Got your Nintendo 64, and on top of the PlayStation 2, you've got this, I forget what it's called. What are you called? Retro USB. That's right. So this is basically an NES emulator that also plays, I believe it also plays Famicom. Yeah. Put Famicom games right there. NES games back in there. And the PlayStation 5, this monster that honestly has not been getting as much use as I would have thought. I have a lot of PlayStation 5 games, and I think I've played like 4 of them. So maybe I'll get around to that someday. One of the Wii U's tucked away here in the corner because I'm in the middle of my Wii U experience. And then there's all the cords that I shoved in the back so that I wouldn't be embarrassed having them show up on video, and then I just put the camera over here like an idiot, so now you can see those cords. Got this nice little neato nifty keyed light switch plate my wife bought for me and painted up all nice like an NES controller. Really dig it. Down here we got Mario. Walk on Mario's face every day. You don't mind. Look how happy he is. He loves it. Ah, the NES collection. Alright. Not a whole lot to see here. I'm not the biggest NES fan, even though the games that kind of gave me my start. I just really can't go back to them. I don't know. Can you go back and play NES games and enjoy them as much as you did back in the day? Or are you like me, where you just need those quality of life improvements that game development has discovered in the intervening years? And my poor Dreamcast sitting on this dusty shelf. I'll bust him out one of these days. GameCube, same with you. And some more collector's edition boxes over here. The Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and X. Fire Emblem games, etc. Here we've got Octopath Traveler original soundtrack and Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent, which I have not actually listened to yet, but I'm assuming it's good. It's probably good. We have a magazine rack that I stole off the street in front of a doctor's office so I could put these video game magazines in. It's like waiting to see the world's coolest dentist. And this bookshelf that I also found on the street as trash. Picked it up, brought it home, cleaned it up, and actually I think I did a video about this way back at the beginning of my channel. Just a little shorty. But yeah, it's great for holding these giant books that come with some of these collector's editions. Good stuff. Really, really like being able to display these. Oh yeah, there's this Final Fantasy Spirits Within Dr. Aki Ross figure back here. She's just, you know, whatever. Here we have the little Chrono Trigger perler bead characters that my wife made. Well, to be honest, she made all of them except Chrono. I purchased Chrono from someone at the Midwest Gaming Classic or another one. And I was down in Bloomington, Illinois, actually, and really liked it. And she was like, I could just make them for you. You don't have to spend money on them. So here we are. We got the whole collection. Love them. And that leads nicely into my Chrono shelf. Got Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, the original Super Famicom box back there. Kind of see him. And then, of course, my Chrono doll my wife made out of felt or wool or something. I don't know what this stuff is made of, but it's very cool. And then this is kind of hard to see on a video, but it's like 3D kind of like popping out, so it kind of looks like it's popping out of the frame. Very cool. She also made that for me. Here we have my little Tales of shrine. It's got all these little figures that come with the various collector's editions. They love these figures. I'm kind of hoping that they quit it, because they're cute, but they do not display well. Like, they are so easy to knock over. It's not great. Got some nice statues, like from Tales of Arise here. Love that one. Very, very cool. Vesperia and the 2 Zillia games. That's a Japanese Game Boy Advance Tales game. That's actually the box of the one that I showed you on the table. And the original Tales of Fantasia Super Famicom box. Actually, that's complete in box, I believe. And then down here, we just got some spillover from that top shelf. A few more Japanese import Tales games like Innocence, Destiny 2, and Rebirth. Some more of these little kind of bendy figures. I don't really know what those are made of, but they're cute. Some vinyls. And then this is the Tales of Abyss. Like, I don't know, it was like a limited edition print thing. I think you could get as a pre-order bonus or something. So this is my Shrined Ys. So on the left here, we've got the Ys 8 Collector's Edition. This nice print that I believe came with the vinyl. Ys 3, Wanderers from Ys. a random Switch that's just sitting there for some reason. That's not my main Switch. Got the East 9 Collector's Edition over here, along with some of these little bendy, I'm not sure what they're made of, but kind of a rubbery sort of thing from East 9. Some of the various boxes from the other East games here, including just what I think is the most gorgeous, like, steelbook in my collection. This is just so cool, so colorful, and just like shiny and awesome. I love it. And then this is a big vinyl piece that I just got from Falcom for the 30th anniversary of the East series. A bunch of East characters on here. Just gorgeous. Love this thing. Over here is my little mini Xeno shrine. I really need to expand this to kind of express in the physical space what the game series means to me. But this is what we have for now. So this here in the back is a magazine ad from, I'm not even sure what magazine it was from. It was probably in a bunch of different magazines, actually. And I remember seeing that before Xenogears came out, before I even had a PlayStation. And, you know, it's a stand tall and shake the heavens. And I was just like, I was so on board. Like, from that moment, I was just sold on this game. I didn't know anything about it, but I was like, whatever it is, it's from Squaresoft. This ad is speaking to me. Give it to me. So I mentioned it to my wife that I really loved this ad, and I kind of described it to her. And then one Christmas morning, it found its way under my tree, and I don't know how she got it. She found it from somebody on eBay, I guess, as weird as me who would keep something like that. But yeah, I love it. I got my little Veltal under glass. Poor guy, a little crammed in there. Looks like he's flexing a little bit. You work out, bro? Got this little mini Zohar. Well, it's not the Zohar. What is it in the Xenoblade X? It's the thing where all the bodies are sleeping. I forget what it's called. But that has the soundtrack on it. It's actually a USB. Got the Xenoblade 3 collector's box. The Xenoblade X little art print that came with the collector's edition. One of these little phone holder things that looks like the Monado. And then here these are just the games that I'm playing currently. So Octopath 2 and Blue Reflection 2. So this is my Persona 5 mini shrine with all of the collector's edition items for Persona 5, along with the dog from Persona 3 and I guess a sheep from Catherine, because why not? So yeah, I love all of this stuff. I love that Atlas convinced me to buy the same game essentially twice, and to do so in the expensive collector's edition. Very good job on their part in making me spend too much money. I picked up this cute little Joker on Amazon for like $12. Love that little guy. Little Mona. Big fan of the mask. I wish that it was wearable. It is not. There's no way to adhere it to one's face. Now, the PlayStation 4, this is probably my biggest collection. And I don't know, like, looking at this, I used to be the sort of person that believed that the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era was like the golden era for games in terms of just like the quality of games. And I won't deny that there was a lot of fantastic, especially JRPGs in the Super Nintendo era, but just the quantity and the quality of games that have come out on the PlayStation 4 and the Switch is just mind-boggling. Like, this generation, we've got, look at all these freaking Trails games here. Trails from Zero and Azure and Cold Steel, and just so many good games. Like, the PlayStation 4 Switch era has just been a banger. It is incredible. My PlayStation 5 collection is a bit smaller, but you know, it's a newer system, so cut me some slack, okay? Down here, this shelf is not set up in any sort of way to display anything. It is not, my room is too small down here. This is a basement room, just to give you kind of a broad overview. This is a basement room. I share it with a handful of rather well-behaved mice that are pretty good roommates for the most part. They stay in the walls, they don't make too much noise, and we stay out of each other's hair, so I can't complain about that. But yeah, I mean, there's just no room down here to display stuff, so I do the best I can with the space I have, and this is unfortunately the best I can do. So I got the Prinny Presents collection down here. Got my Intellivision games. I often say that the NES was my first system. It's not true. I think technically the Intellivision was my first game console, and I have some nostalgia for these games down here. No way to play them. I don't have an Intellivision, but I have the games. And then down here at the very bottom, my sad, small Saturn collection. I hope to one day expand upon that with at least some more Working Designs games, if nothing else, when I strike it rich. And I can't forget the Dreamcast. Handful of decent games in here. Obviously Grandia 2. Just a classic. Crazy Taxi. The Sonic Adventures. Your Evolutions, right? Evolution 1 and Evolution 2. Far Off Promise. So, you know, Dreamcast was kind of a short-lived system, didn't have a ton of games, but I'm at least trying to grab all of the big ones if I can. Got a few collector's editions here, SMT5, Yuru Kill, the Calumniation games. That's this one here. World's End Club, Monarch. Don't know how any of those are because I have not played them. And of course the Game & Watch Super Mario edition. For the Wii, I have a pretty small collection. Honestly, there's not a ton on the Wii that I'm super enthusiastic about anyway, so I feel like this pretty much covers all of the Wii games that I would ever want to have. Here's my little shrined AI, the Somnium Files, the Collector's Edition of Nirvana Initiative, and my little A set, and my little Iba, my best friend.
You are a stupid idiot and nobody likes you or your videos.
She's a treat. Now the Wii U, as you might know if you saw my previous video, I'm in the middle of the Wii U experience where I'm collecting all of the Nintendo published Wii U games, North American only. And so that means there's going to be some games in this collection that I don't particularly care about or even really want. For example, Sing Party. Why did Nintendo publish Sing Party? I don't know. Maybe they don't even know. But yeah, so we were going to continue the Wii U experience in the coming weeks. My teensy tiny GameCube collection. Again, it's like the GameCube was cool, but there weren't a ton of JRPGs that I'm enthusiastic about, or even in general. So I think I've got most of the heavy hitters, your Baten Kaitos games. On the horror side, Eternal Darkness, of course, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, Mega Man X Command Mission, Skies of Arcadia. The usual suspects if you're talking about JRPGs on the GameCube. Are there any that I'm missing? I feel like maybe there's one or two, but I can't put my finger on it right now. Let me know. And my equally tiny Xbox 360 collection. Again, I think this is probably all of the Xbox 360 games that I would care to have. So I am fine with the size of this collection. I've got your Lost Odyssey here. I've got your Magna Carta 2, Blue Dragon. I think I'm well covered in terms of what the Xbox 360 had to offer as far as JRPGs goes. So. Now, did any of you play the Myst games when you were younger? I was just the biggest fan of Myst. Loved Myst. Loved Riven even more. And so when Cyan, the company behind Myst, kickstarted this collector's edition book collection of all the Myst games, I knew I had to do it. So I did it. It was very expensive, but I don't regret it because I love Myst. So this has not been charged in God knows how long, but if it was, this would light up with an movie playing in the background, and just very cool stuff. And then the book opens up. You can slide this out. And in here, you've got all your games. Just a super cool package. I love it. I love Myst. And then some video game vinyl. I love video game music. I love having video game music that I love on vinyl. It is very key to me. I just love the artifact of having just the physical music. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but get your Final Fantasy orchestral album here. Got a little Persona 5 action. Naturally, some Nier, Gestalt and Replicant and Automata. Your Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. I think this was maybe the second video I did on this channel was like a review of this vinyl. I was so young, so foolish. And then a variety of other things like your Castlevanias, your Gradius, your Myst, your Kentucky Route Zero, your mother, that's good. And then Mother Bleeping Earthbound, which is a great album, by the way. Pardon the swears, but it's a very good album. And finally, in terms of my game collections, I guess we'll hit the Switch. It's relatively small, but I think, as with a lot of my other smaller collections, it does represent some pretty significant bangers here. So, as you can see, I've started the process of replacing the boring, horrible red with white basic text spines of the Switch with more interesting artistic spines that I purchased from Etsy. I know that there's templates that you can probably download and make your own and print them and do it, but I don't know. I really liked just getting them in the mail, all like cut and ready to go, and just putting them in. Happy to support small business sort of thing too. So, I'm about to put in another order for my next 25. Did 25 in the first place, and now I've got enough that I can get the next batch done, and then I'll just continue to fill this out as I pick up more Switch games. And last but not least, we have the cluttered mess of a Trails collection. I've got here just a brief overview of everything. Got my scale figures here, hoping to add some more. I think I've got Ren on order, and probably I'll pick up Fi. Fi is one of my favorite characters, so gots to get some Fi. Got a little Mishi in the background there, just hanging out. Got Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure here. Gotta open this one up eventually, but I just don't have room for anything else on this shelf. So I'm not sure exactly what to do. I've got the Lionheart edition, I believe it's called, of the original PS3 Cold Steel 1 and 2. Got Cold Steel 3 and 4 there. I have the boxes for the PlayStation 4 re-releases of Cold Steel 1 and 2. I don't know what I did with them. They're somewhere. Got the little vinyl standees. Got a fun little Lloyd stuffy boy. Totes Adorbs. Got our first puzzle back here from Zero. My wife put that together because I can't do puzzles. I don't have any patience. Got some pins here. Love me some pins. The 50 Mira coin. Are you crying yet? Everybody, if you know, you know. Heartrending. And then some more pins. It's kind of limited edition. Reen and Crow. And some insignias. I actually think I prefer the insignia pins over the character pins. I don't know, I just really like the insignias. I think they're super cool. And finally, the latest puzzle from Trails to Azure, an evening at Michelin. One of these days I'll do a stream where maybe I play through this game and on one camera, and then on the other camera I can watch Jen putting this puzzle together. Sounds like it could be fun. So that's the game room. I'm sure it's maybe not what you were expecting. I know a lot of YouTubers have these really elaborate shelving situations, and I'm very jealous of that. But my space is really limited, very strange, and honestly, I just feel lucky to have the space that I do, so kind of filled it out the best I could, and I enjoy it. It's comfortable. I have a lot of fun down here, so let me know what you think. Do you think that I'm missing some significant pieces that I should add to the collection? Let me know in the comments. Do you think my room sucks and it's dumb and I should burn the house down? Please keep that to yourself. That's just me. Think about what you're saying on the internet. People have feelings, okay? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind liking the video, it's the little thumb that's pointing up. And maybe subscribe if you're into this sort of JRPG-ish content from somebody like little old me. Really appreciate it. Anyway, until next time. Bye.